out here working ground, driving.
Hello and welcome to the Mike Less Farmhand Mike YouTube channel, bringing you some of the biggest and best variety and definitely the most versatile farming content on social media today. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Farmhand Mike.
Hey everyone, it is time to be in the field here in Western Ohio, so I'm out here working ground, driving the John Deere 9420R with a 45-foot field cultivator behind me. Corn planter's going, soybean planter's going, temperature's warm, so off to a good start here. The only thing I'm having trouble with is my drones. I was going to try to get some drone footage here, but having a little trouble, so I had my daughter run my other drone over, and it signed me out because I haven't used it for a while. My password's back home, so I'll get drone footage another time. But anyways, we're off to a good start. Like I said, dirt's coming up nice. Crops, seeds going in the ground, so I see a lot of people around me in the field. So here's to a good plant 2023.
This year we got rolling in the fields on April 12th, so that's about average for this year. I always figure April 15th. Anyways, we did not have a real cold winter or a very wet winter, and spring come on, and the dirt was working up very nice. Actually, for this early in the spring, this is probably some of the nicest the dirt's ever worked up that I can remember. You see lots of dust going on there. Anyways, we just had a good spring. This is going to be a rather long video as we all kind of switch off running different equipment here. So I started out the season working ground here. So the first part of this video is going to be me working ground, and then we'll move on to the planters. But pretty much once we started working ground, we started planting corn, started planting soybeans. Everything just all happened at once. Some guys were holding off because it was kind of cool out and there was a rain coming that they were talking about. Everyone was going to wait till after that rain. Well, that rain never really developed early on, didn't amount to much, so we just kept on it going and getting all the seed in the ground. We got quite a bit planted in the first week and a half. Then we did get some rain breaks here and there, and actually went for a good while without being in the field. And it was a good thing we started when we did. I generally always carry one of my drones with me in the tractor, a GoPro. Of course, I use my iPhone for some of my filming, and I'll just randomly stop and get like 10 or 15 minutes of footage here and there. Filming these videos does not take a lot of time. That's actually the easy part. It's editing is where I run short on time. Now in years past, I've done like a video of the tractor and field cultivator, then one of the corn planter, one of the soybean planter. Sometimes I broke the season up in different videos. But I have found it seems like my longer videos over the years do better. I know YouTube says you should only have a video 10 to 20 minutes long. I got videos that are an hour long that have over 1 million views. So I'm just going to go with the whole season here. So everybody, if you're watching this video, you're going to see spring 2023 the whole way through from the first ground we worked till the end of planting. I want to say the first 2,000 acres went pretty fast. We got all the fields done down in the south part of where these guys farm, and then we moved, got quite a bit planted up there. Then they were calling for rain. Well, everything we had planted got 1 to 2/10 of an inch of rain, and where the planter was setting, those areas got 3 to 3.5 inches of rain. So anyways, that kind of delayed the planting where we had to go, so we had quite a rain break there. So we were actually side dressing corn that was up before we had all the corn planted. That's one thing about farming, there's never two seasons the same. This year we got an early start, we got a lot done, then we had a delay. I still remember the spring of 2019 when pretty much all the crops for everybody in this area went in after Memorial Day.
All right, another field done. I'm gonna park it for the night. It's about 20 after 8 here, and it's early, so we don't need to push real late at night. But anyways, had a pretty good day in the tractor. No complaints here. Now that's something I need to video right there, an old 2-wheel drive Magnum on the Kinsey planter. I don't know who that is right off, but I'm sure I can figure it out. He's probably not going too far from here, so maybe we'll get that on a future video. Oh yeah, we're making some dust tonight. There goes Uncle Larry, just got done planting another field of soybeans. Have to get some footage of that new planter here one of these days.
And after a good night's sleep, a great supper, an early morning breakfast, we got to do some morning maintenance here, grease the machine, change some shovels, and fuel the tractor up. I have no idea who invented the knockoff shovel, but this is one of the greatest inventions of all time. Thinking about all the times changing shovels over the years, using a wrench, and the bolts cutting your fingers and your hands, these things just make a world of difference. Looks like we got our money's worth out of that one. And we got a nice sunny day here. We got a good background. Might as well get some more drone footage. There's so many benefits to having auto steer guidance in your tractor, and being able to get drone footage while you're getting something done is definitely one of those benefits. I told you we switched things around here. The boss man got tired of planting corn and he wanted to work ground, so I got tired of working ground and I wanted to plant corn, so here I am in the 8260R and a 16-row John Deere planter. This is the third year for this planter. This is the John Deere high-speed planter. We do have a few rocks here in Ohio, so we're planting along about 8.5 miles an hour. Seems like when I post pictures of this tractor and planter on Instagram, I get some questions on the planter, what the tanks are for. Now keep in mind, there's a lot of people that watch these videos that are non-farm people, so let me just explain this here. The tank in the very front, that is carrying nitrogen, 28% nitrogen that we put on when we plant. The two outside tanks have a starter or pop-up fertilizer on them, and then the two tanks in the middle, those are the tanks for the seed. When I started my YouTube channel back in 2012, I just thought everybody watching these videos was a farmer and they knew what was going on. So I never did the voice explanation in the videos and so forth until I figured out that a lot of people watching these videos did not come from a farm background or a different type of farm. So I do like to explain things just so everybody understands. This planter here is a 16-row planter on 30-inch row spacings, so each pass we're covering about 40 feet right here. Here in Ohio, we plant a corn population of around 34,000, so that is 33 to 34,000 plants per acre. And then, of course, with the seed going to ground, we're putting on the two different fertilizers here. Then once the corn is up, we will come back through and side dress and put more nitrogen into the corn in between the rows. We will also come back and spray for weeds, and then of course you just have to hope we get good weather and rain. And once the corn is up nice and high about mid-July, corn's in tassel, has an ear on it, a lot of guys will come in and spray an application of fungicide on the corn. Now you can do that aerial via airplane or helicopter, or come in with like a high boy sprayer like a Hagee, something like that. So that's a pretty common practice that you did not see, but the last 10 years it's really gained a lot of popularity and a lot of guys are seeing great results out of it. And just depending how the growing season goes, we will normally start harvesting this corn sometime in mid to late September, and then October it's pretty much game on. All the corn on this farm will be harvested for grain using a combine. Corn silage in this area will normally start end of August to the first part of September. And after a few days of working ground and planting corn, I was finally able to get the new Deutz 7250 TTV tractor hooked up to the 30-foot sunflower field cultivator. This field cultivator was hooked to the John Deere 8200, so I unhooked it and hooked it up to the 7250 here. Was just curious to see what it would do. Depending how heavy the ground was and how deep I was running usually between 6 and 7 mile an hour with this. It pulled it pretty good. This tractor here is a 250 horsepower tractor. I will be doing a more in-depth video of this tractor where I'm going to walk around and show you the features, benefits, the inside of the cab, and so forth. But for this video here, we're just going to show it working ground. Also, after I run this for a full day, I ended up hooking this tractor to a McFarlane harrow, and I'm going to have some footage of that coming up here real soon as well. One question a few people did ask me was how this tractor did without duals and just the big singles. I never run out of traction with this tractor. Like I said, 250 horsepower. This tractor's weighted down. I took it to the elevator and ran it up on a scale. It's just over 27,000 pounds the way it sets here with the front weight and the rear wheel weights. McFarland brought us out this 40-foot harrow to demo, and I've always wanted to try one of these in the spring. This is a 16-bar drag harrow, 40 foot wide, and was talking to these guys down in Louisville. They was actually in the lot next to us, and I know some of the McFarland reps and so forth. So here we are. We tried this in a couple different fields. So the field that I am in right now, this was winter wheat last year. Ran the high-speed disc over this field last fall, so this has just been setting here. So we're just kind of going in here scratching it up. Now you can see it's a little bit dry. We are kicking up some dust, but I really like the job this did. Did try this in a couple other fields, a field that I ran the field cultivator in, and if you want to level a field up, let me tell you, this is the way to do it. Or if you're kind of in a minimum till situation like this field right here, and you just want to come in here and scratch the top up, I think early spring, whatever, just to kind of warm the soil up, I think this is a great machine. Again, like I say, if you want to level a field, this is the machine to do it. I'm not saying this is something you got to have for every field, but I definitely feel this implement right here has its place on the farm. You can set the tines aggressive, or you can kind of lay them back. So they had some of the bars set so they were aggressive, and then the other ones laid back. So there's a lot of different ways to set this machine up and so forth, depending what you want to do with it. And it's my understanding a lot of guys are using this where they're actually chisel plowing in the fall and then just coming in with the spring and running this and leveling the field right out. Now the field I'm in right now, since this was disked last fall, this ground was kind of hard, so I was running this thing up to 14 mile an hour. When I got into some of the fields that I had field cultivated where the dirt was softer, I was still pulling this 10 mile an hour, but it just leveled that field out. But it did definitely take a little more power to pull this when you got into soil that was already loosened up. Let's just have a look here. You can see where I ran it and where I did not run it, and just kind of see the difference right here. I'm now pulling in the field. We just ran the field cultivators through this field this morning, so it's set here for a couple hours. Going to fold this out, as you can see right here, and just show you how this levels the field off. Maybe you won't see it, but I could definitely see the difference running it. I mean, not that this field was rough from the field cultivator, but I mean, this really just drags these fields out smooth. I'm back to doing some multitasking. It's time to get some more drone footage, and I just want to say I'm very thankful for GPS. I even got involved in planting some of the last of the soybeans. I told you we switched things off around here, so before the season come to an end, this is the very last field of soybeans we had to plant, or so we thought. You'll find out why in a little bit. But anyways, here I am running the John Deere 8235R and the new planter for this year. This is a 40-foot wide planter, 32 rows on 15-inch row spacing. The other soybean planter we had was the exact same size. They just traded it in for a newer model. The field I'm planting in right now was corn last year. We did run the high-speed disc over this field last fall, and then here I am planting right into this. So a lot of the soybeans in this area are no-till planted into last year's corn stalks. That works pretty good in this part of the world. That's what a lot of farms do. We did have all the planting wrapped up just before Memorial Day weekend. This field here is one of the fields that got that 3.5 inches of rain, and the fields that we had planted that basically got nothing. So kind of put planting on a delay up here in this group of fields, but hey, we got it all done. Went through a little bit of a dry period, and as I'm editing this video, we have actually been getting some pretty good rain at home, so that should be good for everybody and everything. In the years past, with the old soybean planter, always had the John Deere 8200 on there. Now, the 8200 had plenty of power to pull the planter, but the hydraulics were just not quite as strong as this 8235R. So with the 8200, when you'd come to the end of the field and raising the markers and everything else with the fans running, you almost had to stop every time you got to the end of the field to raise the planter. With this tractor, you don't have to. You can just pick it up, and it just lifts right up and keeps on going. Of course, this tractor has GPS on it too, so we don't need to use the markers, so that just makes everything better. Everything better except the comment section. When you use markers, you get more comments. I am on the last pass of soybeans for the 2023 planting season. I just talked to the boss man in the corn planter, and he is getting about wrapped up. So here we are, May 26th, plant 2023 should be over. But we still got a lot of corn to side dress. We got corn that is side dressed, but when I get done here, that's exactly what I'm going to do, is side dress some corn. And there was a 3-acre field we almost forgot about. So I ran over here real quick and worked this field. And then this allowed perfect timing for me to get the 7130 and the Kinsey planter in on this video. And of course, there's always spraying that needs done. Sometimes you're spraying for weeds, sometimes you're spraying for insects, sometimes you're spraying fungicide, sometimes you're spraying all three. But actually, right here, he's spraying on a foliar fertilizer on this field of corn. The field in the background there is winter wheat, so wheat harvest is just going to be a couple weeks away. But I do have just a few drone shots of the sprayer in action here. Sprayer videos never seem to do very good on my YouTube channel, but it's part of what we do, so I just wanted to include it in this video of everything that is going on in the springtime on the farm. And now we're off to what we call side dressing corn. So what we're doing here is putting nitrogen fertilizer in between the rows of corn. This applicator here is taking 16 rows at a time, so it pretty much just follows the same track as the planter here. And we put a little bit of nitrogen on and a starter fertilizer when we plant the corn. Then once the corn's up, come back in with this and give it another shot of nitrogen. Weeds are sprayed for it this time, so now the corn, especially if you get some rain, the corn really takes off at this point. The corn gets up high enough where the leaves canopy over, and that shades out any weed growth, and you're pretty much done unless you come in July or so forth, spray a fungicide on the corn, and just wait for harvest to begin, end of September, first part of October. Well, shame on me. We're about done side dressing corn, and I forgot to pop the drone up in the air and get some aerial footage. I guess there's always next year. And that's going to do it for this video showing you how the spring of 2023 went. If you did like this video, please go down there and hit that like button. Feel free to comment below, and if you're new to my YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it if you would go down there and hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to see more of what I'm doing, you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Farmhand Mike. As always, thank you for watching and supporting my social media, and check back often for new videos.